Motown. More fruit and vegetable puns than you could pick at harvest time, and the stuff of visual nightmares. On this episode of Watchbots.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Watchbots, the podcast about old television and getting you enough dietary fiber. This is Ben, joined as always by Shaylin.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
And Dave.
Wet and ready, Ben. Let's go.
Like a raisin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I should note going into this recording that I had Arby's for lunch, and I have felt like garbage in the several hours since that recording. So if I don't have my usual, up to 11 energy, I just want to apologize to you both and to the listeners ahead of time.
You don't need to apologize to me.
You just make sure that you get one of those Arby's-induced toots on air, and we'll be all right.
There have been many, as well as this sort of indefinable pain in my lower abdomen. So
it's the rocks.
When I'm finally ready to leave this mortal coil, I think I'll just go buy a lot of Arby's, and that will pretty much guarantee it. A swift end. Anyway, I also saw Avengers, so I don't want to spoil it because I know neither of you have seen it, but I'd like to take a moment to talk about the experience.
Okay.
If I may.
How is this connected to Arby's? Was there a tie-in there? Arby's and Avengers?
Yeah, there was a double Hulk beef and cheese, the Iron Man horsey sauce. No, it's actually the Valkyrie horsey sauce. All right, I got that.
Work it out.
Yeah, but I did see Endgame at 10:45 on a Tuesday by myself. That would be 10:45 a.m. And let me tell you, if you want to feel like a cool dude and not at all like a mutant, go to the theater by yourself at 10:45 on a Tuesday. There were a lot of single dudes, so I felt right at home.
You're not a single man.
In that case, I was.
Nope.
Hashtag on the prowl. But I settled in.
Going to Avengers, going to pick up some ladies. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I got a big thing of popcorn because it's a 3-hour movie, so you need some kind of sustenance. And as I was leaving the theater, and the movie was good, right? We could talk about it some other time, but I just was covered in popcorn dust, and I realized that I have the same feeling anytime I eat popcorn and I'm leaving a theater. When you just look down and the bag is mostly empty, but there's just these weird crumbs all over you. I never feel like such a fucking loser. That's when I'm walking out by myself, covered in popcorn, sweating Coca-Cola. It's a mess.
Sweating Coca-Cola. That is a visual.
Yeah. We try to paint a picture.
Were you able to make the bag of popcorn last through maybe half the movie, or when did you finish the bag?
Let's see. If it's 3 hours, I don't know, a couple hours, 2/3, 3/4.
Oh, wow. So I love movie popcorn. It's one of my favorites, but I will eat it before the opening credits hit. And so then I'm left with this empty bag that I don't know what to do with, and it still smells really good and I want more, but I hate getting up during a movie. So it's so good for you. Good for you for finishing or, stretching it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew going in that it was a 3-hour movie, and there wasn't a chance that I was going to get up in the middle of our generation's Spartacus and go to the bathroom. So I figured I had to meter it out and let my body digest it naturally. Create no waste. Hashtag Earth Day.
So if you could rate it on, I'm trying to think of a Watchbots equivalent, 1 to 5, spoiler alerts, what would you rate it?
The movie or the popcorn?
Obviously, the
Let's go.
popcorn.
Let's go popcorn first.
I mean, the popcorn gets a solid 4. You know, it was good. Not enough salt, not enough oil butter oil,
Broil.
Boil.
or utter.
Jinx.
Utter. And the movie, I want to see it again. I really liked it. I guess I won't. Again, we could talk about this. People freak out about spoilers, but I'll give it a 4 3/4.
Okay.
Give a little room to go up and down as we go, but I really dug it. So,
Well, I plan on seeing it soon. I don't know when, but soon. So maybe after we see it, and after I feel like most of the world has seen it already because it's made up like billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. So I think we can maybe in a week or two we can start talking about it and at length.
There's a part where Captain America just crushes up some pills and he bumps a line off the American flag. And that was a little controversial, but
that's crazy. Was that an alternate timeline?
I can't get into that. I'm not at liberty to discuss particulars. But anyway, how about this Sonic the Hedgehog trailer?
Jesus Christ.
It's a thing.
Yes.
It's like somebody animated cocaine. Like it's bonkers. It's absolutely insane. I don't know if I like it or if I'm like morbidly curious, like it's like watching a car wreck. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning toward the latter though. Mm-hmm. What about you, Ben?
I mean, it was underlaid by Gangsta's Paradise for no particular reason, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Because like Coolio freaked out at Weird Al Yankovic, 20 years ago about using it for Amish Paradise.
He did?
Yeah, he wasn't into it because like it was too gangsta. So to see it in this context is weird.
Well, 20 years, maybe Coolio hit on some hard times or something.
He was on Food Network a bunch. He has a cookbook. He's doing all right.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Coolio on Food Network, incidentally, one of my favorite things.
That's one of your favorite things?
Yep.
Cool. Now, Shaylin,
Yes.
as a staunch Sonic the Hedgehog fan,
Yes.
where do you have the gall to enjoy this trailer in this movie? What is your malfunction?
Who said I enjoyed it?
I could tell.
And I think you did at the beginning of the podcast. We'll play the recording later.
Yes.
It's one of those things that I get excited, and then after, I don't know, my brain has one synapse fire. I'm like, nah. Mm-hmm. Still watch it.
All right.
Still watch it.
and thus end my pop culture items of the week. Now, mea culpa, and I got a big one, and it's for you, Shaylin. You fucked up big time, buddy.
Big time, you say?
Oh, shit. Get her, Ben.
I'm calling you out. I was editing the episode, and you talked last week about the time you and I saw X-Men Apocalypse. And as I was editing, I was struck with a bolt of remembrance that I saw X-Men Apocalypse on a plane, and we did not see it in the theater. So now you're just making stories up. You fucked up, pal.
Or she saw it with someone else, Ben.
Could be.
Ben did give me a bit of a sneak preview. As it turns out, I thought that Days of Future Past was Apocalypse. I just haven't even seen that movie. Haven't even seen it.
When she said sneak preview, what she meant was I jumped up and started wagging my finger in her face and just screaming, "You're a fucking idiot! What the fuck?"
That's not true. He didn't
just
do
getting
that.
irrationally upset.
I don't know why you had to recreate your wedding vows, but okay, whatever.
Yeah, I described the entire plot of Days of Future Past to Ben, and he's like, "That's not the movie that we were talking about." And I was like, "Oh, I don't think I saw that movie then. I am just an idiot." Whatever. It's an X-Men movie. There were people in it.
Days of Future Past was pretty good.
Yeah.
I had a really hard time buying into the struggle at the end. Like there were a couple, like the time continuum really, like I didn't care for it because there were unexplained things, and I was like, why didn't they just do this thing or that thing or this other thing?
Oh boy. I don't want to get into specifics. If you have concerns about time continuum, Avengers may not be the movie for you.
It's fine. It's fine.
So I've read the same thing, and yeah. I have trouble with Back to the Future. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this one.
Oh man. So Back to the Future, right? They're
Great movie.
One of the Blu-ray sets, like when Blu-ray, or maybe it was when DVDs were first coming back, there was a box set for the DVDs, and there was a bunch of special features. And that was when special features were harder to come by. And there were two on the Back to the Future set. One of them was a Kirk Cameron TV special, like talking about Back to the Future, like when 2 and 3 were coming out. So
That's amazing.
It's wild. And then there were also FAQs, and it was just like text about like common questions about the movie. And at a point, it's sort of like that Simpsons gag where they're asking really specific questions about the time travel, and the answers become increasingly more like, it's a movie. Enjoy it.
I like that.
So, yeah.
It's like talking to a 3-year-old. But why do my pajamas have short sleeves?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how they were manufactured. But why did they manufacture them with short sleeves? I don't work for that. I don't know.
Their pajamas put them on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You little
Yeah.
snot. So this week, we're moving into claymation, and we talked about live action last week, but today we're talking about that cultural phenomenon, the California Raisins. Now, Shaylin, you picked this, and I have to ask
I sure
you,
did.
where do you get off picking something like this?
Yeah.
Why are we watching this?
So last week, you specifically mentioned California Raisins,
Don't put it on me.
and I got really excited about it. And in researching what we could watch, I thought claymation would be a nice change of pace. I started to watch the card.
You can go fuck yourself for that thought.
Yep, that's fine.
I'll get into that later.
So there's that. But also, it's more the pop culture surrounding the show than anything else that I really adore here. Some pretty funny things going on. Pretty weird things. And I would like to take a moment now to apologize to you, Ben, and you, Dave, and to all of our listeners for this fever dream, because that's the only way I can describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you know that I'm terrified? When you picked this episode, did you know I'm terrified of stop motion animation?
I had no idea.
I wanted you to say raisins so bad.
I thought you were going to say
God, raisins.
doo-wop music.
I guest starred on a Maury Povich episode, and they brought out a tray of raisins, and I freaked the fuck out. The only claymation show that I can watch and stand is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
What?
You can watch that, but other ones give you nightmares?
Yes. It is, like, I don't know why. Maybe I just watched it and I'm used to it, but like, what is it? Santa Claus Comes to Town? Or is coming to town?
Yeah. Terrible.
The ones with the heat miser and the cold miser, like this horrifying nightmare of a TV special, the California Raisins.
No, it's
like,
great.
Just awful. And it scares me. It's like, it like sears into my brain and like seeps into my dreams and like just keeps me up at night. It's awful. It's frightening to me. I don't know why. It's like the uncomfortable, like slow moving facial features and like the like jilted or not jilted, like stilted, like body movements, and oh god, it gives me the willies every single stop motion animation thing.
This is my favorite revelation that we've had about like your very traumatic upbringing so far. Stop motion animation. Yeah, I don't like heights. I don't like swimming. I can't stand stop motion animation with clay.
Yeah, I can't explain it. It's just like I've never liked it, except for the Rudolph show. But like
I hated Rudolph.
Everything else as a kid watching like the other Christmas specials, just like ugh, give me the willies. Sorry, that's all right.
And here I was going to
push through.
Here I was going to say. The weird thing is this is a family primetime special, and I watched this completely sober, completely straight, and I can't imagine like actually enjoying this unless you were completely fucked up somehow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So just to give a little peek behind the curtain to our listeners, normally when I watch one of the shows getting ready for the week, I have a notebook out and I take notes, and you know, there's like quotes that I write down and like moments to say, hey, Ben, make sure you pull that for the GIFs. I literally wrote nothing for this episode because I just watched the entire time with my jaw like hanging open going, what am I looking at? What is this?
Well, as a counterpoint, I have 7 pages of notes. So some of
Excellent.
us come prepared and some of us do not.
It's amazing. It's a cultural phenomenon.
It is a cultural phenomenon.
Indeed.
And I'm horrified that we're bringing it back.
It's not us that's bringing it back. Did
What-
you guys read that they are talking about a live action movie?
Oh, God. No, they're not.
No.
In 2015, they announced that they're exploring it and they've hired people to write the script.
Okay, well, there was supposed to be a
Okay.
new Captain Power in 2016, and that didn't
Yeah.
happen. So, that the California Raisins were the phenomenon that they were is almost the most interesting thing to me because, like, if that commercial popped up now, it'd be, like, popular for 2 days on Twitter, and then you would never hear about it again.
Yep.
I guess it
Yeah.
speaks to, like,
Yeah.
the fast news cycle, but, like, there were...
But like, there's a difference between two days and the 6 years that they were popular.
I know, it's fucking weird.
And there were toys and restaurant tie-ins and multiple kinds of media.
So let me talk about the story here, right? So many of you will know, some of you may not. I don't know. Who really knows these stories? The California Raisins first showed up in 1986, right? So it was a commercial for Sun-Made raisins that was funded and sponsored by the California Raisin Advisory Board.
Which is a thing that exists.
Yeah, big raisin.
It did exist.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there. And like it just took off. Like it's just raisins singing Motown songs, but people fucking loved it. But the group behind it was Vinton Studios. And they're responsible for things like that show The PJs that I think Eddie Murphy was involved with, the stop motion stuff from the Moonwalker
Horrifying.
video with Michael Jackson. They did all that. Now, the guy behind the studio, he lost the studio to the owners of Nike.
Huh.
They were
Like
Ow.
in a shootout?
yeah. No, they were investors. So Phil Knight, the guy from Nike, was an investor, and then he just became the majority owner and forced Vinton out, which is strange. It's pretty weird. But like I don't know. I can't get enough of this somehow. But what we watched was not the animated series, right? We watched Meet the Raisins, which was a one-off primetime special, which fucking crazy to me. That had a sequel, right? It was like Raisins sold out, and then there was an animated series.
It's also a Christmas special too, I believe.
There
Yes,
was
there
a Christmas
was.
special.
Yes.
Which,
And you're welcome. I didn't make you watch that.
Yeah, that'd be like double horrific.
so the fun fact about this was nominated for a fucking Emmy Award.
Yeah. Yes.
And there you have the real reason.
Just blew out your headphones. Sorry.
Ah!
Yeah. Just like,
Now,
what was going on back then?
well, I'll tell you what was going on.
Drugs.
And what it lost to was Garfield Babes and Bullets, which is a Garfield murder mystery.
What?
And next week we're
Like
watching...
a Garfield noir?
I think so. So next week we're watching
Okay.
Garfield Babes and Bullets.
Oh, yes.
Unless it's 45 minutes, in which case we won't. But yeah, just 1988 was a wild, wild time.
Yep.
You had the $1 Million Man bribing referees. You had the Hulkster. You had the California Raisins. You know, it had it all.
Reagan. What else you need?
Context.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Throw some context, Ben.
So I should say this. I was sitting in my car after getting a haircut today, and I was listening to some of the songs that Laurie had suggested for kind of new contextual feeling bits, and I was feverishly writing lyrics. And I came to the realization that a lot of the songs she picked are for more falsetto types than I am. So as I was belting them out in the car going, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if these are going to click. So just know I'm actively working on it. Okay. I had lyrics written about Iran and Mario 2. So it's coming. I got to get all the pieces to fit together.
All right.
You know, we can take this offline, but I've got a pretty good falsetto. I can help you out with that.
I believe in a thing called context. Just
Just listen to the rhythm of your heart.
exactly. So this aired on November 4th, 1988. And we have talked about a lot of this before. So I think as we go here, and we don't need to decide this on the air, and I'm doing air quotes because I'm cool. We should think about how we redefine this a little bit. Because top movies, number 1 was They Live.
Yep.
Number 2 was U2 Rattle and Hum. Number 3 was Everybody's All American, which makes me think we've done this exact week before.
Yeah.
Yes, because I would have never known the All American or the YouTube movie.
Yeah. Now, the number 1 song was Kokomo. Have we talked about Kokomo?
I don't think
We have.
Oh,
we have.
I don't know.
But we can talk about it again.
I think we should, for a lot of reasons.
Is it the best Beach Boys song or the worst Beach Boys song?
Yes,
the best.
I go with the best.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I could see an argument for it being the worst if you were really into like their original sound, because it's a drastic departure from that. What I love about Kokomo, other than just its existence and how fun it is the Muppets cover of Kokomo.
Coco Muppets.
Yep. It's really good.
Kermit Co.
I found myself a couple of weeks ago watching it on YouTube while I was at work. And I was like, huh, all right. Nope, we're doing this. And then I watched it a second time because it was that good. Big fan.
What a tale.
It's a great song. And if you disagree, you're wrong.
Well, if you like it, we want to hear from you at WatchBotsPod on Twitter. Hashtag Kokomuppet if you like it. And hashtag
Kokono.
Kokono. If you don't, I was going to say hashtag original Kokomo, but whatever. It's a free space, the internet, social media.
Hashtag I'm wrong.
Yeah, play around with it, listeners.
Hashtag I'm wrong is just every tweet I ever put out.
It's every X-Men related factoid that Shaylin talks about.
Turns out.
Speaking of 1988, just an hour ago or so, I was reading that Ron Howard is developing, or may be developing, a Willow series for the new Disney streaming service, Disney Plus.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but it, you've got a special place in your heart for Willow, Ben.
Yes, that's true. So if this came to pass, I would be thrilled. Now, there's no way it would be good. I think you have to sort of
You accept that
there,
to start, yeah.
because that movie is 32 years old. And even when it came out, it's not objectively a good movie, but it holds a place in my heart. Like, it's a similar kind of thing to Captain Power, where it's like kind of campy, low fantasy science fiction. Val Kilmer is a dreamboat in it. It's got that old lady going, na 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 na. Turning people into
It's
goats.
got the guy with the cool skull mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Low grade fantasy aimed right at us as we're 4, 5, 6 years old. Yeah.
And
it's perfect.
It even had a mid-tier Nintendo game. It was kind of like the first Final Fantasy, but you were just playing as Willow, so you could live out your fantasies of being a dwarf.
Huh.
In other words, Shaylin's day-to-day life.
It's funny because I'm short.
Shaylin RPG.
Oh, man.
That would just be a game. It would be a side scroller where I just pet the different puppies and kittens.
Cast cat love.
Yes.
That's +1 sarcasm.
So one other 1988 note. I was kind of looking up what was happening in fast food at the time. 1988 was a big year in the Mac Tonight campaign. Are you guys familiar with that? Do you remember that one?
Mac Tonight.
No.
So it was like, to pitch McDonald's, they had a character named Mac Tonight who he was dressed in a tuxedo or whatever, like he was in the Rat Pack, and he had a head shaped like a crescent moon, and he just sang songs that sounded like Mac the Knife.
I do remember this.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was weird.
Speaking of nightmares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know that it was claymation, so I don't know if it's in your wheelhouse, Dave, but it's like, I was just looking at pictures and stuff and reading about it. It's wild, wild stuff.
If we were creating a taxonomy, we could probably lump it in there along with stop motion and claymation. And yeah, it sounds frightening.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
Speaking of McDonald's and fast food, I was reading that Mac and Me also came out in 1988. You both have seen this movie?
No, I've only seen the Conan O'Brien, Paul Rudd bit, but do go on.
Yeah. So Mac and Me is a McDonald's produced movie. It's essentially one long McDonald's ad about an alien, not E.T., going down to Earth and befriending a boy. Not at all like the E.T. plot. And they get into Elliot. They get into misadventures, and the alien is just horrifying looking. Mm-hmm. But it was, according to IMDb anyway, and their rating system, it is the worst movie of 1988. So, right. You know, we didn't have a lot to talk about at the beginning of this contextual feeling, and look at us go.
You know what's another horrifying looking alien? Did you ever see that E.T. porno?
Oh
man.
I was going to bring that up too.
Yeah, put that in the show notes. Maybe not. This is a family show.
You guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
we all watched that together.
Some of us did.
Some of you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift. I don't even know what that means.
It's a great.
I left the room after the mask revealed itself. Yeah. I couldn't handle it.
After Dave and Ben pulled their pants down.
Oh, stop.
Oh, boy.
Too far.
So speaking of weird experiences, I have been thinking for almost a week on how to approach this. I don't know how to talk through this California Raisins thing. There's not a plot per se. So at its core, it's a mockumentary, right?
Yes.
And it goes through the early career of the California Raisins, and I have so many fucking questions.
The rise and fall.
When you don't know where to take it, you take it where you usually do, and that's from the top. And this show opens with moaning slaves. Take a listen.
It's great.
What's going on?
It sounds like the beginning of Conan the Barbarian, the movie.
Yeah.
Like I just expected, like, long ago before the seas drank Atlantis. Like it's not that. It's about raisins.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is from the movie Ben-Hur. Now, say what you will about this. This show had approximately 7,000 fruit and vegetable puns. Yep. And like 10% of them connected with like the actual thing they're talking about. So like Ben-Hur doesn't have any herbs or herbs. You have to say Ben-Hur because that's what it is. But
right.
like
Martha Stewart.
The raisins are slaves and they're being overseen by like a stalk of celery.
That's correct. With a whip.
Yeah.
What I will say, I have a good joke. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
So this show had so many fruit and vegetable puns, but a lot of them died on the vine.
Ah.
It's good.
So
I like it. I imagine you have a lot more of those.
You know, I tried to stray away from them because the show really took all of my material.
All of it.
Yeah.
Now,
every single fruit and veggie pun.
So it opens with moaning slaves, and it's a take-up of Amistad, as far as I'm aware. But don't worry, we get to the singing in a completely natural fashion here. Jesus.
Whoa.
So is that song called Sha-na-na? Na-na?
It's called Get a Job.
Okay. So they all now the slaves are like singing with
cheerfully singing doo-wop music
with like the slave driver and stuff. And
the slaves are singing Get a Job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that supposed to be a joke?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like I don't know this era of music.
Are you asking me?
I
don't know.
Or are you asking the show? I was making an observation.
I'm just saying I don't know in general. That I'll be saying that a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I think every clip you play, we're going to have this sort of reaction.
Yeah, and I'm looking to Shaylin for guidance, and she's not really providing.
I don't know what kind of guidance you want. Like I assumed that it was a joke because it's supposed to be a comedy, and it was like. It's one of those things where, like, contextually, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to find this funny.
Yeah.
But I don't get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, so I'm gonna take a brief digression here for a second.
What?
1988, I was a kid. I wasn't yet in kindergarten.
What?
I know.
Get a job.
So I think that I reacted to this show, watching it this time, exactly the same way that I did when I saw it originally.
Unfettered glee.
Like, thinking, oh, this is kind of neat, but it looks kind of weird. I think this is supposed to be funny. I think those are jokes. This music's pretty good. What's going on? Like, it's sort of in a series of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember very vividly we recorded this. We had it on VHS at our house.
So cool.
So weird.
I reacted the same way I would have reacted when I was 4 years old, and that's with terror hiding behind my hands. just absolutely frightened.
The hashtag, ladies and gentlemen, is Dave hates claymation.
It's true. Now, what we do get here is a legitimate LOL moment. That's a hashtag lol. And here's where we meet our narrator, too.
Ben Herb, the film some say sank the movie career of those world-renowned recording artists AC, Bebop, Stretch, and Ray.
I just like the show opens with this movie clip, right? And then the narrator goes, it sank their career. Now, I know it sank because it's on a boat, but I like the idea that the subtext is it was just seen as in such poor taste. I know that that's not what they meant, but that's how I took it. So I
like it.
I laughed. Now, our narrator is a carrot named Cecil Time.
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that a reference?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, it's supposed to be like, I think he's supposed to be kind of like inside the actor's studio, but it's not.
I couldn't decide if it was inside the actor's studio or if he was trying to be like, well, I guess in 88 it couldn't have been. Like, it was like the VH1 behind the music guy.
Okay.
But
Dennis.
That's just a voice. It's not like a person.
Franz.
Yeah. Dennis Franz.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If you know the name of... Oh, my Siri went off. If you know the name of the VH1 behind the music host, hashtag behind the music. And if you don't know, hashtag pop-up video.
Why don't you ask Siri? She's so eager.
No. So we meet the Raisins, and now Dave was a coward about this whole show, but I found the Raisins a little bit terrifying.
Yeah.
Because they don't have wrinkles.
Yep.
They're just like little purple, oblong
poops.
Things. Yeah.
They look like poop.
They're purple poops. Yeah.
And
this is the prequel to Mr. Hanky from South Park.
And it was...
They're just these little violet turds.
It was surprising in that in the original commercial, which they show as part of this special, the raisins are well defined. So to see them so not here was really weird.
So I found a good quote about these raisins from the guy Seth Werner, who was the one who originally pitched like the commercial and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. This amazing quote. He said, "We decided that we wanted raisins to be cool and a bit intimidating."
Sure.
And so the executives that worked on the campaign came up with high top sneakers, sunglasses, and endless swagger.
I don't know that I would describe it as swagger.
Not sure if you can capture that in claymation.
In poop looking claymation.
Yeah.
Oh man, those turds have swagger.
It's so
Look at them
good.
plop.
We had a wind-up California raisin.
Did it have swagger? Did it walk in the same bizarre motion that
Yes.
the raisins did? Okay.
It did. It was odd, and he wore sunglasses. And I remember as a young child thinking that it was weird that we had a giant raisin that was the size of my head that could walk. But it also looked like poop with sneakers.
Oh, that's enormous. My grandmother had she had like a little junk drawer full of like toys and trinkets you get from like cereal and stuff.
Yeah.
One of them was a California raisin, and I would play with that. I don't think I ever watched the show. If I had watched the show, I would have like thrown that thing in the garbage. but yeah, I would play with that all the time. I think I had I'm pretty sure it was Stretch.
I had the saxophone player.
Is he even in this foursome, this quartet?
He's in the commercial break for California Raisins within the special of California Raisins.
Okay.
But I don't know that he has a name.
Layers upon layers.
It was so
This
weird.
postmodern commercial.
No, what do you mean? None of this is weird. It's not weird when AC and Bebop find their harmony by hitting each other with hammers. It's not weird when they talk about Red, who's a transplant from Modesto that has a pompadour for some reason.
Because he's so cool.
Yeah, totally. It's not weird that they have Rodney Dangerfield for a manager.
Yeah.
Let's listen to that.
Yeah, let's do that.
How did I get the career launch? What are you, nuts? It would have been easier to launch a cement canoe. When I met these guys, they were nothing but pure, unwrinkled talent. Now what can I do with that, huh?
So this is Rudy Begaman, which is like the only coherent pun in the whole show. And he's like Rodney Dangerfield if Rodney Dangerfield like took speed and then got super drunk. Like he's both slurring and talking incredibly fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like an inebriated Morton Fizback from Denver the Last Dinosaur. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Is it the same voice actor?
No.
Oh, you looked?
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad.
Okay.
I never would have made that connection because I forgot who Morton Fizback was about 5 months ago.
Shame on you. But they're both music or like concert promoters.
That's true.
yeah.
Yeah. Why is Rodney Dangerfield the go-to concert promoter voice?
I don't know.
Because the guy loved music,
He did.
I guess. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That at the end of that Simpsons episode, they're dancing a Journey, so it plays.
It all falls
Yeah,
together,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So in their original iteration, the raisins are not 4 raisins. They're 3 raisins and a grapefruit.
Yep.
The grapefruit is named Zoot, and he is described as bitter, and he shows up constantly. Let's meet Zoot.
Hard feelings? No way, dude. I always dreamed of working on an assembly line. But I still write songs. You want to hear my latest? I write the songs that make the whole world sing.
Zoot. Now there was one bitter grapefruit.
When he came on screen, he looks like that character from the Dick Tracy movie. I think he was called Littleface. So the guy had like a huge fucking head.
Yes.
And his face was tiny, hence the name Littleface. I thought he was an orange, but he's not. He's a grapefruit.
He's a grapefruit.
You know who I thought he looked like? This is a deep cut. Do you remember the movie Blade with Wesley Snipes?
Uh-huh.
There is this fat, like morbidly obese vampire that he tortures with like an ultraviolet light. And that's what Zoot looked like to me. So yeah, deep cut.
Was he supposed to be like Pete Best? Like they replaced the drummer with someone who's like slightly less talented but much more marketable?
I think so. Sure.
Who is Pete Best?
The original drummer for the Beatles.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Dave's going to get Beatles Twitter on him now.
For someone who does trivia a lot, I'm surprised you didn't know that.
I'm not a fan of the Beatles.
Oh
really?
boy.
Yeah. Sorry.
Just making a face.
Oh
All
boy.
right.
Getting controversial here.
Huh.
I'm not a fan of the California Raisins, so I mean, I don't know.
But how do you feel about
I hate
Marvin Gaye?
claymation. Aces.
All right.
No, I'm not like I like the Beatles. I'm just like not like a huge like I don't know everything about them. I'm not like obsessed like with like a Beatles fan or whatever. Like,
and you've revealed the
I heard
deep
them on the radio
secret.
and that was it.
How dare you? Where do you get the gall?
Two major secrets revealed tonight on WatchBots.
And next week there's a new TV show launching. It's just the Beatles, but they're claymation.
I feel like
We're making it just for you.
So I've been watching a lot of the Marvel movies, as you both know, and I noticed when watching Infinity War, what was wrong with me? Infinity War, that Iron Man's whole performance is just like, it's like angrily surprised, like Thanos. I'm breaking this down here. I feel like that's my reaction to everything on the show is like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm Iron Man, damn it. Because when it's revealed that Zoot is a grapefruit, like my mind started to unravel a bit because I really thought that it was an orange. And then I became convinced for the next 25 minutes that there were lots of visual gags that I wasn't getting because nothing was clear. You know,
Because
it's tough to tell what things are.
The claymation wasn't great.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it was like, are you a scallion or a leek or a piece of celery? I don't understand. Like, and am I missing? Yeah, I had the same thought. Like, am I missing puns here? Like, I don't know what it is.
I think we all missed a lot of puns here.
Now, here's a question, a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it. The world of the California Raisins.
Uh-huh.
Is it supposed to be an adjacent one to our world? Like, are we supposed to think that the songs that they're singing are covers?
So
And that the movies are parodies of actual movies, or are these all original things?
so there's layers here to unpack.
Okay.
So within the actual special, I believe it is supposed to be parallel universe.
Mm-hmm.
But we lose that structure when there's a commercial with people eating raisins
Yeah.
while they're fucking dancing.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was that? It's not quite cannibalism. I don't want faces on my food, especially not vegetation. I don't want it to have a personality when I'm eating it. I'm going to climb off my soapbox real quick. Regather myself. So there's that. In terms of songs being covers, this era of music was so regional that everybody was doing covers basically all the time. There were not tons of bands that did like just their songs, because it was like, oh, this was like the East Coast folks and this is like the Northwest people, and they all did the same song, and the albums came out like roughly similar, but just different groups. So you could have preferences and things, but
Because I have a theory
okay.
that
Get it on.
with the California Raisins getting popular singing covers, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they are the precursor to Kids Bop.
Yes, we should examine that.
I wrote.
So are the kids singing on the Kids Bop albums? Are they not actually kids? They're actually anthropomorphized vegetables and
Have you
fruits.
ever
Made
seen
of
them?
clay.
Have you seen them ever?
Yes.
That's what I'm getting at.
So-
They are. They're food.
I believe Kids Bop is actually going on tour this summer, and I have like this fucking insane idea to go see Kids Bop live.
Well, I didn't want to spoil your birthday present, but
It's at the big like outdoor amphitheater that holds like, you know, thousands of people all to see Kids Bop. I have this. Yes, it's ironic. Okay, I admit it. This one is ironic, but like Kids Bop is so weird to me, and I think the California Raisins kind of scratches that same itch.
yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like this particular special was like, it was trying to imitate the Weird Al movie UHF,
Yeah,
but it didn't do a great job of it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
was like, oh, this was really funny and we can do this. And it just turned into like a couple of people writing down everything they thought of while they were getting super drunk. And then it came time where they actually had to produce something, and they were like, well, this is apparently what we're doing now. We didn't come up with an idea.
Now, speaking of producing things, the Raisins go on a talent show called Talent or Consequences.
They sure
Now,
do.
this is a sequence. The show is hosted by Ed McMillan. Ed McMillan was a nightmare. Like, I didn't notice the first time I watched.
Yes.
The second time I was like, holy shit. So he's a watermelon, but without stripes. So he's just this big green ball with a face. And he's wearing like a tie and slacks and shoes, like under his watermelon head and body. Oh, it's nasty.
But his face, like, so, all right, he's a lime or whatever the hell he is.
He's a melon.
Yeah.
Is it
He's
melon?
Ed McMillan.
Oh.
It's his name.
I couldn't. He looked like such a lime to me. Like I couldn't like
His name wasn't
parse out his
Ed
name.
McLime. It was Ed McMillan.
I didn't. To be honest, I didn't pay attention to his name. And I wasn't. I was also not paying attention to what Ben.
They
was just
didn't
talking about.
They didn't
But,
call
like,
him Johnny Citrus.
one host. Don't listen. But his face is moving in every direction on his melon. Like it's awful. It's just awful to watch. Like there's no like center for it. It just like his lips move one way, his eyes and eyebrows move like up and down, like way up high and way down low on this like the melon axis, I guess.
Melon access.
Ugh. Yes. That's the latitude and longitude. But yeah, I'm there with you, Ben. It's a
Well, we
nightmare.
want to hear from you. If you thought Ed McMillan was a nightmare, hashtag Melon Axis. And if you were a fan, hashtag Melon Ally.
Ooh, I like that.
Now, Talent or Consequences kind of reminded me of an old Disney attraction called Kitchen Cabaret.
Oh
Do
yeah.
you guys remember that? So it was like a variety show where food would come out and sing to you about health. So like a carton of milk would come out and sing about building up calcium. And there was a comedy duo called like Ham and Egg, and they did like an Abbott and Costello routine. This whole talent show was kind of like that, except in Kitchen Cabaret at Disney, a ear of corn was not brutally killed,
Right.
as it was here.
Yeah.
And the raisins weren't crushed. So the raisins are singing Tutti Frutti, and the crowd goes wild, but then this happens. So this is both their big break and their big tragedy, because they are crushed and then they're in full body casts.
This is where they turn from grapes to raisins, right? Because they're very smooth before, and then afterwards, they're very wrinkly. Did you guys get that?
Nope.
No. Now I'm really intrigued. Huh.
Unless I'm messing up the chronology of the mockumentary, but I'm pretty sure they're smooth, and then right after this they're very wrinkly.
Huh.
Could be wrong. It could be a mea culpa for next week, but
I'm not rewatching to find out.
I was going to say the odds of me going back at this point and rewatching are very slim.
you know what? I'm going to put it on mute and I'm going to watch it. You guys take the next 27 minutes or whatever and discuss.
So,
yeah.
Shaylin mentioned this already. We get some fake commercials, and one of them is so brutally unfunny. It's like a hairstyling gag, but the whole gag is based off of Roots.
Yep.
And they just show a potato getting potato skin so it gets curly hair. Fucking bad.
And there's appeal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it wasn't appealing, that ad.
Yes, agreed.
Now, I did laugh at the next.
It didn't catch my eye.
Damn it. I'll tell you what was corny was the next commercial for the young and the seedless.
Tomorrow at noon,
Puppy.
Oh, Stu.
when the melon of her dreams proposes marriage, what will Honey do?
Oh.
Will she say she can't elope?
She can't elope.
That's what reminded me of UHF, was that commercial in particular.
Yeah.
This that dialogue reminded me of Johnny and Athena from Captain Power.
Yeah, it has that feel to it.
Oh, Johnny.
Oh, puppy.
There's probably a that's the reason I enjoyed it, I think.
Because it was like Captain Power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, from time to time in the show, they have these talking heads with some of the raisins. I don't know which one is which, but one of them has this very timely statement that kind of describes how I felt at this point in the program.
That was the most painful experience of my life. Until now.
I actually belly laughed a little bit. I audibly laughed is what I was trying to say.
Sure.
At that point, because I was just like, oh God, what is that background noise? Oh God, why is the grapefruit back? Oh, this is for the joke. I see.
And the raisins at this point are so poor that they're singing on a street corner, and then a piece of broccoli just shows up. Now the broccoli's name is Lick Broccoli.
Yep.
At first I thought it was Mick Broccoli and that it was kind of like a Mick Jagger send up, but it
I
really
thought so
isn't.
too.
It's just a piece of broccoli, and the raisins have a thought on old Lick, and then we can talk about him.
That cat had a glass-shattering voice.
It was the tight pants. Had to be the pants.
So you got this piece of broccoli that's wearing tight pants, and he's kind of a mix of
hitting the high notes,
like Keith Richards and Sid Vicious. It was fucking bizarre.
Yeah, I thought it was like a Mick Jagger, David Bowie kind of mix. I don't know. Or like Ozzy Osbourne thrown in there too. Very strange.
Yeah, and I think he's in there to show that music is moving on without the raisins, but they never really had success anyway. So I don't know, but
right, they had one hit song, got crushed by a 16-ton anvil, and then were poor because they
were smooshed.
Yeah, so they were never ever successful.
Yeah. But then, so they're going along. But Vegetable Rodney Dangerfield, he reacts to this in the most horrifying way. Hold on, let me play it.
Then I got an idea so great, I got a headache. Blew my brains out.
He got a headache and blew his brains out.
That's correct.
I cannot believe that was on a television show. I'm going to play this one more time.
Prime time.
Then I got an idea so great, I got a headache. Blew my brains out.
I'm in shock.
Yeah, that coming from you, the one who talks about like dying constantly. Like,
Yeah.
that's yeah.
Yeah, but this show is rated E for explicit. I'm not on like a CBS primetime show.
Yeah.
And what is this line written for? It's to get to a gag about them doing live elevator music.
Which was actually kind of a funny concept.
A great gag.
Yeah.
You'd see that on a Mad TV any old time, that kind of sketch.
It was a bad joke.
And then they are singing on top of a mountain for whatever
For
reason.
like 2 months they're singing this song.
Yes. When the green onion, or whatever it is, reaches the top and you just see the lead singer's face, like, fill the frame, the green onion screams and lets go of the cliff and just falls to its death. And I wanted to do the exact same thing after watching this. It's like, Jesus Christ, that is horrifying. I'm right there with you, green onion.
You can see that GIF up on Jiffy at WatchBots Pod, and you've got it mostly right, Dave. The onion falls down the mountain, but it does so like in stages, and the raisins just keep following him down. So like they jump out of eggs, they eventually catch him. But this leads to another big break for them because their onion mountain rescue was seen by Federico Rasparini, the film director, who is absolutely not an Italian stereotype.
The Raisins' flair for spectacle impresses myopic Italian film director Federico Rasparini.
Hey, these are heroes look just alike meatballs! That's nice! Hire them!
Rasparini saw in the Raisins a new wave of Italian cinema.
So he puts them in movies because they look like meatballs. And here in my notes I wrote, I guess they look as much like meatballs as they do like raisins, so it's probably fine.
They look like poops.
They do look like poops.
Yeah.
Now,
this should be in some other films.
oh God. Cake farts. Let's 2008's hottest movie. Let's get this done. So the next 18 minutes of the show are them in movie parodies, and they all go the same way. And I have clips from them. It goes, they're in the scene, and then something happens, and then they're singing. Yes. Every movie is like that. And it wasn't enough to do that gag in the beginning with Ben Herb. They need to repeat it 3 more times.
Because it's catchy as fuck to make up for the lack of plotline.
Catchy. Now the first one.
So if you're a moviegoer in this raisin world, right, and you keep going to their movies, you're an idiot because it's the same fucking movie or same formula every single time.
I mean, aren't there only
something
3
happens,
plot lines in the
song.
world anyway?
Well, listeners, if you want to get at Dave for denigrating all Italian cinema, feel free. Hashtag not culturally sensitive.
Yeah.
Hashtag the Dave, the bad and the ugly. I don't know.
Hashtag raisin probs. It's problematic.
Or you could do hashtag raisin probes. I don't know. Or if you want to see their survivor send up, hashtag raisin probst.
There you go.
Now the first movie they show is The Good, the Bad, and the Wrinkled, and it's a Mexican standoff, and they get in a shootout with a chili pepper, who again certainly not a Mexican stereotype, but we get this. You know, going into that parody, I thought, oh, this is going to be their send-up of spaghetti westerns. And then they got me with the music. You know, I didn't see it coming.
really took the rug out from under you.
I couldn't even make my joke because I was laughing too hard.
Didn't see it coming. Hold on, what's your joke?
I was going to say, not too bright.
Who's not too bright? Me?
That was, yeah, if you thought that was, because...
Wow.
If you thought they were going to be cowboys.
Hey, you made this choice. But we go from that to the cleverly titled 2000 some, and it's at this point, like I wrote, like I really should have been high when watching this. Like, so it's a setup of 2001: A Space Odyssey, where the Raisins have ape masks on, and then the monolith comes up, and they put a coin into it, and it starts playing like the Ric Flair theme song, and then wouldn't you know it, Sons of Bitches got us again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times. Now I'm on board for what you're doing.
So, what I really liked about this sequence of movies is that the songs that they chose to put in them have nothing to do at all with the animation.
Nothing has to do with anything. Like, things just exist.
Yeah.
It goes back to like the 2 drunk kids who, they didn't prepare for the final because they got drunk, and then they showed up at the studio to start animating, and they were like, oh, and then they're gonna sing what's that pop song people like? I know.
Yeah, we thought of 3 potato puns, so we're gonna have this like quick little thing about a potato, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the show that you're watching.
Yeah. So yeah. I'm gonna write a California Raisins parody right now, and it's called Skindiana Jones and the Last Produce, and the Raisins are going to go get the idol from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then like a boulder starts chasing them, but then the boulder starts singing like at the hop, like that. Yeah, that is what they do. Like nothing connects. It's
exactly.
Just like shit is happening. It is wild. It's crazy.
It is wild.
Was the cartoon like this?
I was 4. I feel like it had more of a connective plot though. When it definitely had a more of a plot, because this is like here's the backstory, here's how the guys got together, and like they actually went on adventures in the cartoon.
They like the New Kids on the Block?
Kind of.
They went on adventures.
They went on adventures. What if the New Kids on the Block just copied the plots of California Raisins and like the backgrounds and just superimposed the, Joey and Donnie and everybody over the Raisins? It
would be about as easy to follow, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nobody knows driving a joke into the ground like me, except for the California Raisins. So we get one more movie parody. It's called Star Truck.
It's really good.
I'm just going to play it.
My alien half does not speculate, Captain. However, my raisin half says...
Definitely my favorite transition of the entire show.
Get off my plane. Boom, bow, bow. It's so weird.
It's really good.
Any movie.
Luke, I am your father.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Roxanne! I would have watched a 27-minute show of just these parodies, but we don't get any more. What we do get is Cecil Time saying a line. I listened to it 5 or 6 times. I don't know what it means. Can I play it for you both?
Please.
I'm sure I'm overthinking it. He's talking about the film's failing, I think. But let me play this and see how you interpret it.
Though the films are a success, import restrictions on foreign produce quarantines them, leaving the raw stock rotting on the docks.
I don't know what that means.
The raw stock rotting on the docks.
But is he talking about the film, or is it he's talking about fruit and vegetables? Like what is he talking about?
Yeah, is he talking about this? Is it a play? Does it mean both?
So like, they made these movies that would be successful.
Yeah.
But they couldn't export them because there were tariffs on vegetables. And so they rotted. Because somehow the film was an actual fruit.
So the film was vegetable film.
Yes.
Oh. I know what it was. Vegetable stock.
Ah ha ha ha.
I was so pleased with myself.
Yes, you were.
So fucking.
It really came. your happiness really like shone through there.
I wish you could see his face right now,
So
Dave. He is
fucking
like
sad.
gleeful.
No, I'm actually not gleeful at all. I'm like, oh, what like a sad shell of a man I become.
Now, like Rudy, you want to blow your brains out.
That's a constant state of being. Now, here we go to another commercial, and we get the original California Raisins commercial, which is a delight. It has the song that we predominantly know and associate with the raisins.
California raisins from the California vineyards.
Don't you know I heard it through the grapevine?
Sounds grape, doesn't it?
It does sound grape.
Very grape.
At this point, my eyes are starting to glaze over, both as we're recording and as like we're watching the episode. And they go on a Goodwill tour of the Arctic Circle where they're playing for like penguins and snowmen. And I didn't pull a lot of song clips of them because, well, I just don't want to get hit with the copyright stuff. But at this concert, they play the Cool Jerk.
Because it's Arctic.
Yeah. It sounds a little something like this.
This cat they talking about, I wonder who could be. 'Cause I'm the heaviest cat you ever did see. When they see me walking down the street, none of the fellas want to speak. Hey, on their faces they wear a silly smirk, 'cause they know I'm the king of the cool jerk. Get out of here, you nosy little pervert, or I'm gonna slap you silly.
I was trying to figure out where to cut that clip, like when I was pulling it, and I went, no, you can't really cut anything.
No, you need it all.
There's a part where he goes, oh, you're cooking, Frankie. But that was 17 seconds later. So, at a point, you got to move on.
Uncle Frank.
I don't know where else to go with this. They get in a plane crash. There's like a benefit concert or something. Lick is playing a concert with Zoot. The raisins crash into the auditorium. They come out of a block of ice. Am I missing anything so far?
Nope.
They get on the covers of Time and Newsweek. They are seeing.
And did you see the Playboy?
No.
Shot too.
Where was this?
I had to rewind this. So they do like the cliche, like the image of the magazine covers like laying on top of each other. There is so there's Time, and then the other one, and then there's there's one of the raisin like just laying there, like head resting on a like the cocked elbow or whatever. And I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. I kept watching. I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck was that? I rewound it. It's very, very quick, but like he's nude and he has a little grape leaf over his crotch.
Is he sunning himself?
Is it called like play grape or something stupid?
I don't know. I forget, but like probably. Yeah. But there's check it out. Or maybe it was all a fever dream
Could
of mine.
have been.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm going to go on mute and check this out.
I was going to say, I'm just doing a quick Google search here.
Huh.
There might be some California Raisins pornography. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Were the California Raisins ever an on ice phenomenon? Like an ice skating, like Ice Capades? Did I make that up?
Well, I mean, they were in ice in this episode.
No, I think that it was like a thing that you could buy tickets to at the Boston Garden.
Well, you look that up, and I want to talk for a minute about the Raisins backup singers.
Please do.
Who are also raisins. And, okay, so it goes without saying at this point, they are horrifying. Have you ever seen the original Mr. Potato Head?
Yes.
Where it was like a potato and then it's like these grotesque features? That's what these like female backups look like. It scared the shit out of me. Literally.
That's fair.
I shit out some California Raisins. But we do get what I think was a phone sex ad. Did you guys see this as a phone sex ad? Was it just me?
I did not associate it directly with that. I wasn't sure what it was, but
let me paint the scene for you. It's a
it's a phone sex ad.
So it's a clove of garlic who is very sad because he's probably stinky. And you know what? I just grabbed the whole ad. Let's listen to it.
You relish the thought of a tender encounter with the perfect date. Tired of those seedy single salad bars and fruit cocktail parties? Then dial 976 Veggie and meet the tasty morsels you dream of.
Well, actually, I'm studying to be a cobbler.
Ooh, you must be rolling in dough.
So what are you waiting for? Call 976 Veggie. That's 976 VEGI now.
Like you gotta think about these raisins like fornicating and these fruits and vegetables getting together and like cross pollinating. It's not what I want out of my primetime TV.
I don't need to do that. I'm going to confirm the Ice Capades did feature the California Raisins circa 1988-89. It didn't make that up.
Nice.
So on some level, I've just reestablished that while maybe a little bit off my gourd, I do have some memories that are accurate.
We'll see if we can find a YouTube clip or something and put it in the show notes.
There's a bunch.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But getting back to these raisins, when he's singing at the big concert, and they get popular again, he's singing to, I think it's a pair, and the woman is going wild, like as he's singing to her. That for me was like, is she like aroused by this raisin? And then like, how do these fruits and veggies have sex? And like, just thinking of just going down these insanely weird roads. Is that where you were getting to, Ben? Getting to as well, Ben?
I mean, not to that grotesque detail, but what I do want.
No, it was, you were getting there. I know you were.
I went about like one building onto the block and you went all the way down to the corner. Now, we want to hear from you listeners. If you have any thoughts about how these produce items get together, hashtag knockin' fruits. Yeah.
Well done.
So this is about where we get to the end of the special and the Carrot Man takes us out with a little bit of profundity. Profoundness? Is profundity a word?
It is now.
Hashtag smart.
Or as Shakespeare so aptly put it, some are born grape, some achieve grapeness, and some have grapeness thrust upon them.
Should have been William Grapespeare. That's a little note for the writers.
All right. We'll get that to them.
But we're not going to end on a better note than that for this episode. So let's rate it.
Okay.
Would you show it to a kid?
Nope.
Yes.
What?
Like not on purpose, but I wouldn't actively work to prevent.
Not on purpose? What does that mean?
Not on purpose.
Like if it were on TV, I wouldn't be like, oh, you can't watch that.
Yeah, it's a no. the objective answer is no. And let's go with 1 to 5 smooth talking raisins.
I give it a 2 raisins.
Okay.
Because wordplay.
It's 'cause we talk about things.
I was thinking through. I answered you, and then I had more to follow it up.
All right. 2 because wordplay.
Because wordplay, and because it has a lot of like warm and fuzzy, happy associations for me. Mm-hmm. Even though I can see objectively this was not good. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of things from 1988 that I connect to the raisins that I am into. So
okay, all right. See, there we go.
You just interrupted me. That's all.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's funny because usually I'm the one who interrupts you.
Yeah, it's funny. Dave?
Well, first thing, I hate when you two fight. Please don't get a divorce. It really hurt me last time.
I think I've said before that this show is my therapy, so it might as well be couples therapy as well.
Yes. Thanks for mediating, Dave.
Sure. And I'm going to give this a 1. 1 because I'm terrified of claymation, and it was never going to get over 1. But also 1 because like fuck Big Raisin for like shoving this down our throats, right? Like we didn't need this. Like this was like just one giant commercial. Like it's just the epitome of the 80s. Like no thanks. Get out of here, Big Raisin.
Now let me put a pin in Big Raisin for 1 second because I have a coda that I will get to.
Okay.
But I'm going to rate this as we'll see. I was going to rate it a 1.5. And then I remembered that suicide joke. So it goes up to 4. Because the suicide joke. Now, back to Big Raisin, Dave. The California Raisins went on the downhill, as will happen. And I pulled something from Wikipedia. I will read it to you both because it's both really sad, and I also found it tremendously funny. This is as follows.
Okay.
Although popular with the public, the California Raisin campaign eventually failed because its production cost the raisin growers almost twice their earnings. The California Raisin Advisory Board, the organization who made the campaign, was also closed on July 31st, 1994 due to disagreements with raisin producers over the fairness of required payments to the organization. So the raisins got too big for Big Raisin.
They did.
Insane.
Accurate.
Yeah.
How much did these things cost? Like these commercials or whatever, the marketing.
So the original budget was like $7 million, I read.
Okay.
Which an ad campaign for literally shriveled up rotten fruit is pretty funny.
I don't think it's rotten.
Shriveled up delicious fruit that could have been delicious if they didn't shrivel it up.
What I will say,
I like grapes better.
What I will say before we leave this is there should have been a Clara Pelton "Where's the Beef" claymation special. I would have watched that. Now we have a game.
So we're not doing like a game with active rules this week. I'm taking a slight tangent because I always do this or that. But I thought that maybe we get our creative juices flowing here, so to speak.
Okay.
So I'm going to, it's fruit. I'm going to give you a vegetable or a fruit or some other produce.
Literally?
I'm going to tell you what it is. I've assigned one to each of you. And you need to come up with your best punny language surrounding that produce.
Can you give me an example?
So if I said, okay, potato, then you can really get to the root of that problem. So you're gonna spitball your best puns here.
So do we just have one pun to go? Is this like a rapid fire, like, all right, Dave, carrots, Ben, lettuce, something like that? Or do we have to do you just give us one piece of produce?
I'm going to name a piece of produce and you guys have to go back and forth. And when you run out, I'll have another produce product for you.
So we're just rattling off produce puns.
That's correct.
What is the name of this game?
Okay.
The name of this game is Not This or That.
What about
the California Daveens?
It's exclusionary. It's fine.
No, Dave ends because Ben is the second half. And
yeah.
Was that not intended?
The California Dave Bens.
Okay.
The Daveens are what we called when we were protesting the Vietnam War.
That was terrible. All right. So for your first produce, we're going to stay local to California, neighbors to the raisins, avocados.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, this is the pits.
Guacamole. Holy guacamole.
We made it one.
Why would you pick avocado?
No, that was two. I said pits.
I know, but then it took Ben so long that I don't know that.
Why would you start with an avocado?
Because I thought that you would get like directly to the holy guacamole stuff. I thought that was like a gimme.
Okay, how do you go past two?
I don't know. That's not my problem. I'm the judge of this game.
Well, we could rock out with our guac out. We could do that. But then we're just going to have guacamole puns. Yeah.
The bottom line here is I just wanted to hear you guys say guacamole many times because it's a funny word.
Okay.
All right.
Guacamole. Okay.
Not featured prominently in this episode. The apple.
Well, let's get to the core of the matter.
Ben, you're the apple of my eye.
Something seed.
You'll be hard pressed to keep going.
Did you ever read The Shining?
I've never read it.
Oh man. So it's Dave, what's the guy's? It's Jack Torrance, right? Is that the character? So
yeah,
Stephen King writes a line about like Jack Torrance sleeping with his wife, and there's a line about like his seed spilling down her leg.
Okay.
It's so gross.
I remember that.
I thought you were going somewhere.
Yeah, I was trying to make like a ribald seed joke, but I didn't get there. So I made that Shining reference.
Like a Your pun is also a Shining reference. I like that. Yeah.
So are we still on?
Yeah. Oh, my seed is spilled.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that.
What, you just said it?
That's not appealing. I know we've used that tonight, but fuck it.
So your last one, because we're going slightly blue, so I'm going to give you opportunity. Navel oranges.
Don't be such a navel gazer.
Oh God. That was very pithy of you, Ben.
Orange, you glad we had orange slices at the soccer game?
That's a very appealing joke.
My favorite branch of the military is the Naval Academy.
Oh God!
So
these jokes are piercing my navel. Yes, I don't know. Whatever.
Where did you think we were going to go with that was blue with navel oranges?
I don't know. I just figured I'd say it and see what happens.
Okay.
Because navel oranges was also like funny to me. I don't know why.
Sure.
The moral of the story is everyone's a loser. All of us for having watched. All of us for having watched this cartoon, this claymation.
You picked this.
I know.
Did you think you were picking
better?
Did you think you were picking the cartoon?
No, I remembered the special as being a lot better than it was.
Okay.
So,
that's fair. That's fair.
As horrifying as this was, I'm still happy we went into another medium. Like, we've taken a break from the animation, or like the traditional animation. We did the live action stuff. I think I'm ready to go back into the regular animation now, and never come back to stop motion again.
Yeah, I was expecting like Spinal Tap, but raisins. That is not what we got.
Spinal Tap, but raisins. They put that on the DVD box.
It's true.
On to the mailbag. And we do have something this week. Hi, jerks. You know how the Avengers are a mashup that will be in the annals of time forever? Wouldn't it be cool if some of them kiddie shows were like that? Give me a combination of cartoons that you'd like to see, and then ideally produce it. Sincerely, Randall Crandall.
Crandall.
So we're looking for cartoon mashups or show mashups, i.e. the California Raisins and
Scooby-Doo
Mask. Oh.
So that Fred can eat them. And then they're gone forever.
Okay. Is that what you're going with?
No.
Okay.
What would you go with, Shaylin?
Well, I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we've talked about one before. The real Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters would be a solid choice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I'd like to see Pac-Man and Super Mario Brothers Super Show.
All right.
You know, like...
Would Zelda and Link
sure,
be
why
thrown
not?
in
And
there
also
too?
Captain N, the Game Master. Just
build
that shared video game universe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I already had this as a child. Like when we would go to the same house every summer for our vacation, and the house had like 6 toys in it, like 6 action figures, and it was a Donatello Ninja Turtle, some random G.I. Joes who I can't remember who. Brave Star? Do you remember that show?
Vaguely.
Not by name.
He was like a space cowboy almost. But the action figure was huge.
Yeah.
Some communication.
Sorry.
Get a job. And then one of the characters, I think it was Mace from the show Cops.
Oh yeah.
Not the Fox show Cops, the cartoon Cops.
I'm just saying Cops is on Tubi, but yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, nice. Check that out. But so that was my mashup: a Ninja Turtle, a Cyborg Cop, G.I. Joes, and Brave Star.
I thought of one more that's an ultimate, but I'll give you a chance, Shaylin.
So I was thinking that it would be fun to do like a juxtaposition. So I'm going to go G.I. Joe with the Get Along Gang.
Okay.
I kind of like the idea of like furry animals that are like, it's nice to hug your friends. Mm-hmm. And then you have Cobra Commander. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pound Puppies and He-Man.
I've got 2 more. One of them would be Garfield and Heathcliff. You know?
All right.
Or is that too?
Because they're similar, yeah.
Two likes. And the other one, this would be the best one.
That.
The California Raisins and Star Trek, the animated series. It would be called Star Truck. Oh, the fun we have. Well, thank you, Randall Crandall. And if you want to get in on the mailbag and hear us make bad puns, email at watchbotspod.com. So that was the California Raisins.
Boy,
Any
howdy.
last thoughts before we leave the claymation behind and move next week into California Raisins, the animated series?
Well, like I've already said it. I've profusely apologized. I offer similar, again, repeated apologies. I did remember this being much better. I had a t-shirt with the California Raisins that was a mashup of the Monday Night Football song. All the California Raisins were wearing cowboy suits, cowboy attire, and it says, "All my rowdy raisins coming over tonight."
Were they being really homophobic as well?
I mean, yeah, probably. But anyway, yeah. The memory does not stand up to the reality. So sorry.
Dave, any last bizarre emotional scars you need to get off your chest here?
No, nothing. Just one thing. We're gonna need a bigger boat. A rockin' robin, tweet, a tweedledee, a rockin' robin, tweet, a tweedledee.
I say this is worth checking out if you haven't already. It's bizarre. It's an acid trip. Like, watch it while drunk or whatever. But like, it, for whatever reason, this is a piece of Americana, and that may be fucking depressing, but it's strange.
The Smithsonian has a whole display of California raisins.
I know. Thanks, President Trump.
Yeah. The California Raisins were lobbyists for Reagan, and that's how we got into Big Raisin.
They got hubris at the end.
Yeah. And then Slick Willie came in, and that was the end of Big Raisin. For now. So I guess Big Raisin was a Republican PAC. We can't get into this. We can't get into
this.
Sure we can. No, we can't. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Jiffy at WatchBotsPod. Please subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, or your platform of choice. For Dave and Shaylin, this is Ben. Thanks for listening to another episode of WatchBots. And until next week, you don't want to be a raisin yourself? You gotta get out there and use your sunscreen. What's a good SPF? Shaylin?
50.
50?
I mean, I prefer 75. But after 30, all of the numbers are minimal.
Go safe. Go 80. Stay safe out there. Bye.
When the clock strikes 6:30, babe, time to head for golden